It was the Steiner Brothers versus the Outsiders in a match for the WCW Tag Team Championships. The date, February 22nd, 1998. The event, WCW NWO Superbrawl VIII. This was the night when Scott Steiner betrayed his brother, Rick Steiner. Real-life brothers Rick and Scott had been a tag team from around 1988. They had each other's backs, they knew each other's moves in the ring, and gelled so well as a team. The duo had enjoyed a lot of success in their time together, holding the tag team championships on numerous occasions. The two brothers had even had a stint in the WWF and ECW between the years of 1992 and 1995, and were regarded as one of the very best tag teams of all time. But leading up to Superbrawl VIII, fans had seen a change in Scott Steiner's behaviour. He would always be posing way more than necessary, hogging the camera, and being a glory hound in the ring, not tagging his brother Rick, trying to get the victory for himself. But it had appeared in recent times that their manager Ted DiBiase had gotten these two back on the right track, and they were ready for their mega match against the Outsiders at Superbrawl. But maybe not all that much had changed. When walking to the ring, it still seemed Scott Steiner was far more interested in posing for the cameras than the actual match itself. When DiBiase was trying to give the Steiners a pep talk just before the match began, it appeared Scott was totally ignoring him. Was Scott just really focused on the match, or was something else going on behind the scenes? Rick started the match, knocking Hall down with a Steiner line and a belly-to-belly suplex. Rick continued his offense, pummeling Hall in the corner with hard rights, then following that up with an overhead belly-to-belly suplex. Enter Kevin Nash into the ring, but that didn't bother the dog-faced gremlin. Rick Steiner cleaned house of both of the Outsiders. Then his brother Scott came in for the trademark Steiner pose when this happened. Only about 2 minutes into the match, Scott clubbed his brother in the back and gave the Wolfpack sign to Scott Hall before slamming his brother again, then decking DiBiase. And Dusty made sure he got his shots in on DiBiase as well. This was an all-out NWO attack. Scott had turned his back on tradition, but the match continued. This had now turned into a handicap match. Hall went for the pin, but Rick refused to give up. He still wanted to fight. The Outsiders tried to take down Rick, but he kept fighting back. After a clubbing blow to Steiner from Nash from behind, Rick found himself in an Outsider's edge from Hall, and that's all she wrote. DiBiase was down, Rick Steiner was down, and the Outsiders were tag team champions. Mr. Gloryhound Scott Steiner then handed the tag team belts over to his new NWO brothers, then threw the ref out of the ring, showing his new NWO colours. As the commentators that night said, the NWO had come between a man and his family. Rick was left at ringside. He couldn't believe what had just happened. It took several months of Scott ducking and weaving his brother, but Rick would eventually get his hands on his brother Scott in a one-on-one match at Halloween Havoc in 1998, defeating his turncoat brother. So Rick would eventually get his revenge for this night when he was betrayed by his own blood. And this betrayal by Scott to his brother Rick led to the character Big Poppa Pump, with Scott Steiner all jacked up, going on a monster heel run. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to break out of the Steiner Brothers, and he wanted to try his hand at being a big single star. And he did okay. He was actually main eventing WCW pay-per-views in 2000 and 2001 when the company was coming towards an end, and did quite well for himself as a single star, you would have to say. But the night when Scott Steiner betrayed his brother Rick and joined the NWO was truly one of the most shocking moments in WCW history. Thanks heaps guys for tuning into the video. Be sure to drop a scorpion death drop on that like button and subscribe to the channel for more awesome pro wrestling action from the WWE, the WCW and much more.